emboss.flv. In this episode, I'm going to show you a really cool technique that I call double embossing with a Cuttlebug. This is an example of one of the cards that we're going to look at. As you can tell, there's two embossed areas here. We've got the background and then the front flower. This is just one way you can do it. I made a couple of extras just to give you another idea. I hope you can see these real well on the video. This one I embossed and then I used pastel chalks on it to highlight the images, then went back and Cuttlebugged again. So that's another one. And the last one I got a little wild and did a whole bunch of good things on here. So I did the double cuddle. I used some Martha Stewart punches and some little pearls on there. So there's a lot you can do with this technique. But let me just show you how you get to do a double cuddle. I'll be right there. Okay, the first embossing folder that I'm going to use is one that you can only get at cropstop.com. It's from the UK and it's called Flower Fantasy. It's very cool because it's got these nice swirls with leaves and little tiny flowers. So you actually could use this all by itself. If it were me, I'd put a flower right in the center, put a ribbon, and call it a day. But on this particular one, I'm going to use coordination paper. Now I've gone ahead and Cuttlebugged this one just to save some time, and then I'm going to use my handy dandy little block with the sanding block. I got this at one of the hardware stores. And you're just going to sand it. And this coordination paper is awesome. Look at that. Already that's popping right out of there. I always kind of go in a circular motion. It just seems to give me a better removing of that extra paper on there. Just going to do it all around. So this is our first cuddle. Get a little bit more of that off there. Then I always wipe my block off, and then I take a little towel and get rid of that dust. There we go. Okay, so that's our first one. Now here's what I do. I'm not sure if everybody does it this way, but this is how I double cuddle. This is a handy little tool that I got at the hardware store a bazillion hundred years ago, and it's actually used when they do wallpaper to do the seams. But I'm going to use it because now I want to flatten out or deboss the image that I just did. And I do it on both sides. It doesn't flatten it totally, but it does give me that area where I can then, when I'm going to emboss the next time and going to use my sanding block, it won't take this flower again. I'm going to do that one's a little deep. Do that a little harder. So it goes to show that some of the tools that you used around your house for other things, you can bring them into your craft studio and use them for a lot of stuff. So if you were able to feel this on film, which you can't, it's totally smooth again, like it was never embossed. But I still obviously have my image. Now let me bring my Cuttlebug into the picture here and show you what we're going to do next. Now for this one, I'm going to use one of the folders that came out a long time ago. And to be honest with you, when I first got it, I only got it because it was on sale somewhere, and I never hardly used it. But I'm beginning to use it a little more, and this one's called the Flower Circle. It's a flower, and then it has a frame. I almost always cut that frame off because it just doesn't seem to come out right for me. But here's what I want to do this time. The piece that we just embossed and sanded and debossed, I'm going to put it in the center here, like so, and I'm going to run it through the Cuttlebug. For those of you who don't know how to use a Cuttlebug, you're going to use an A plate, a B plate, your embossing folder, and another B plate, and then you just simply run it through. Now if you're going to Cuttlebug something and it's really tight and you can't get that handle to move, remember, don't do it. Every machine is calibrated a little bit different. And you might, one machine might be able to get something a little thicker than another one, but if it's too hard, you need to stop. Let me move this out of the way now and show you what we've got here. Here we go. Now, of course, you are not going to be able to see that flower that I just embossed, I don't think, on camera. But we take our handy little block here, and this one we have to sand a little bit harder to get that flower to come out. And it's starting to come out of there now. But I'm not sanding so hard that the sanding that I did previously is going to disappear. And that's what you call double cuddle. Now where the little leaves are, I always seem to do a little corner there just to make sure they come out a little darker. It takes a little bit of effort to do it, but it's well worth it in the end. There we go. Now let me bring my little towel back in here and get rid of some of that dust. So, now can you see that flower that came through there? Let me bring the card back in and just show you. Now, where did I put it? Oh, here it is up here. How that shows up there. Now, to finish the card, all I would do is trim this off, like I said, where the little fold is on the side. There's a little embossed area, and I never use that for some reason. And then on my card that I did at the very end, which turned out pretty cool, I thought, I used several different punches. I used the Martha Stewart, the little butterflies. Guess you can see it better that way. And then I used the bigger butterfly. What's really cool, I hope you can see, is that I used the three and I stacked them on top of each other, and used some of those little tiny weeny pearls right there on the top. So it gives it nice three-dimension. I wish these would stay up, but you know, when you send them in the mail, well, forget about it. And then I also used one of Martha Stewart's border punches. I think this one was called the eyelet lace or something like that. I'm not very good at the names yet, but I'll get there. And that's what I did right up here at the top to give it that little accent. And again, this was a coordination paper. This one's actually called whitewash, so you get that whitewashed looking feeling in the back of there. And then your blue comes out. So that's pretty cool that way. And then the other thing I did on this one was I used a couple of my Marvy punches to get that center part. And then I embossed it with the Swiss Dots folder from Cuttlebug. That's one that I've used so much. And this might happen to you. Let's see if you can see. Can you kind of see where it's, I can even do this, kind of stick that through there and let you see. If this happens to yours, don't get too excited. As long as you hold it. See how mine's cracked? That's how much I've used it. Because what I'm thinking is you can take a piece of tape and put there and it's not going to really affect your embossing. I haven't done it yet because it hasn't fallen clear apart. But anyway, I embossed the center part, put a little bit of stickles on there, a little bit of chalk inks, and that's how I got my center. So, again, let me show you all those cards that you can make using the double Cuttle. You can use your chalks, and of course you could always highlight that with your inks. You can use the same thing with your coordination paper, your chalks, and your stickles, and you can go way out and add a lot of punches. So with this technique, you have a lot of options. You can go and go and go. Now make sure to check back next week because I'm going to do the missing embossing. Did you hear that? The missing embossing. You're going to have to come back and see what it's all about. Well, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next week. Bye.